Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to get our hands dirty and talk about building the essential foundation for any practical data analysis. We're diving into those crucial first steps that honestly are what turn a messy pile of numbers into some really trustworthy insights. So let's get right into it. Okay, let me ask you something. When I say data analysis, what's the first thing that pops into your head? You're probably picturing some really impressive charts, maybe some cool graphs that reveal a huge, groundbreaking discovery, right? And look, that's the exciting part, for sure. That's the destination, but it is not where the journey begins. Nope. The real starting point is right here. It's the prep work. You know, it's the unglamorous, behind-the-scenes stuff that every single successful analysis is built on. And trust me on this, without this step, those fancy charts and big discoveries, they mean absolutely nothing. All right, so let's dive into that first major phase. This is all about taking that raw, messy data and starting to whip it into shape. First things first, cleaning it up and figuring out what to do with any gaps. I love this quote because it nails it perfectly. Think of yourself as a chef in a 5-star kitchen. You wouldn't just grab a bunch of muddy vegetables and subpar ingredients, throw them in a pot and hope for a masterpiece, would you? Of course not. You wash them, you prep them, you make sure everything is top quality. Well, data is exactly the same. So this prep work really boils down to 2 critical actions. And listen, the order here is super important. First, you have to clean the data. That means hunting down and fixing all the errors, the typos, the weird inconsistencies. You've got to do that first, because only then, when your data is clean, can you move on to step 2, properly handling any of that missing information. Okay, so our ingredients are prepped, our data's clean, we're good to go, right? Well, not so fast. We have to ask ourselves, can we actually trust this data? And that brings us to our next critical checkpoint, making sure our data isn't just clean, but that it's also valid and reliable. First up, let's talk about validity. This boils down to a really simple, but honestly, a profound question. Are you actually measuring what you think you're measuring? So for example, let's say you want to measure customer satisfaction, but your survey only asks how quickly their phone call was answered. You might have a validity problem there. You're measuring speed, sure, but that's not necessarily the same thing as satisfaction. And right alongside validity, you've got its partner, reliability. This one is all about consistency. You know, think about a bathroom scale. If you step on it 3 times in 1 minute, you expect to see pretty much the same weight each time, right? If your measurement tool, whether it's a survey or a sensor, gives you wildly different results under the exact same conditions, well then it's just not reliable. And this chart illustrates the difference perfectly. Validity is about accuracy. It's about hitting the bullseye on the dartboard. Reliability, on the other hand, is about consistency. It's about hitting the exact same spot every single time, even if that spot isn't the bullseye. So here's the key takeaway. You can be really reliable without being valid, but you absolutely cannot have a great analysis without having both. Okay, so after all that foundational work, the cleaning, the filling in the gaps, the trust checks, we finally get our first reward. We actually get to start looking at what our data is trying to tell us. This is where it starts to get fun. And this first level of analysis is called descriptive analysis. Now, I want you to focus on that key phrase, what has happened? See, at this stage, we're not trying to predict the future, and we're not even trying to explain why something happened. Not yet. We are simply and powerfully creating a clear, accurate summary of the past and the present, all based on that high-quality data we worked so hard to prepare. And this is the payoff. This is what you get. You get a clean snapshot of your data, a clear summary of its most important features, like what's the average, what's the range. You also get your very first glimpse of potential patterns or trends that might be hiding in there. And maybe most importantly, you build the solid foundation you need to start asking those deeper, more complex questions later on. So let's bring all this home. Let's wrap up by focusing on the single biggest lesson from this whole process. Why does all this careful, meticulous prep work actually matter so much? It's because of this. It's that simple. Every single insight, every conclusion you draw, every decision you make based on your analysis, it's only as good as the data it was built on. If you have a flawed foundation, you will always get flawed conclusions, no matter how fancy your final analysis is. Quality in, quality out. So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. We know our insights can only ever be as strong as the data they come from. So take a hard look at your own work, at your own projects, Is your data, the very bedrock of everything you're doing, built on a truly solid foundation?